Okay, so we're going to do part 2 of my Beatles vinyl collection. We're continuing from where we left off with Sgt Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band from 1967. What really needs to be said about this album, it's a great album, great cover, really awesome cover. There's a lot of famous people on the cover, like Bob Dylan up here, Laurel and Hardy as well, Marilyn Monroe, the famous actress. You get the early Beatles as waxworks, as well as the Beatles in their very colourful suits. So there's a lot of people up on here, and as well as Stuart Sutcliffe, who was the Beatles' friend in the Hamburg days, and it's got the lyrics in the back, which I think this was the first album to have lyrics on. Gatefold, nice photo of the band. Copies of Sgt Pepper come with a cutout. Sadly, none of my copies do, but I've managed to kind of print out the cutout. But we do have the original Flame Psychedelic in a sleeve, which is quite busted. Mono polyphone, my mum's old one again. It's quite scratchy, but should hopefully play well. So, my favourites in Sgt Pepper. Well, I think I really like Sgt Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, with a little help from my friends, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, She's Leaving Home, Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite, When I'm 64, Lovely Rita, the Sgt Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band reprise, and A Day in the Life, which is probably one of the Beatles' greatest songs, A Day in the Life. So there's that. And I have a stereo copy, which is quite battered. This is when I got the job up with the mono Beatles for Sale, Beatles second album, Please Please Me mono. It's quite beaten up, but we've had to use some transfer seal to keep it together. Again, this one doesn't have the cutout. I'm hoping to find a copy with the cutout someday, but I'm not willing to, because the originals with the cutout can be quite pricey. And this is on the silver 2 box EMI label. Where's that? We have the Sgt Pepper picture disc, which is cool to have. Not sure what this one's like, to be honest. I've not played it yet, don't know what the quality's like of the picture discs, but it's nice to have. And a picture of the Beatles in the back, which is cool. They did a Sgt Pepper picture disc last year for the 50th anniversary, which I didn't get because I've already got a Sgt Pepper picture disc. Didn't really need that one. Missing Magical Mystery Tour, but we'll hopefully get that. So we're going to skip to 1968 with the White Album. White Album's very cool because of its artwork. You've got the Beatles embossed there. Original copies had a number, which this is a 70s print, so this one doesn't have a number. Original copies came out the top. The original copies came out the top. This one's a side opener. It does this, although it's a reissue, it has the original poster that the original came with it, with all sorts of cool things to it. With the lyrics in the back. And the originals came with 4 separate pictures, but this 70s print comes with the 4 photos as a poster, which is quite cool. I got this at a market for about £10 or £8 or £50, I don't know. And the original, the Beatles collection blue box from '78. Someone had this in their collection, and the box was damaged with blue paint, so they couldn't sell the box. They had to sell the albums individually, and we're on the Beatles label Apple. This is 1968. I was just going to get the reissue of this before seeing this, but then I thought if the price is good, I'll get it. So the price was pretty good, and I went and got it. And second LP is the same. So, what song? I know this is quite a big favourite of Beatles fans, and it's a good album. What ones do I really like? I like Back in the USSR, Dear Prudence, Oobla-dee Oobla-da, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, I'm So Tired, Blackbird, Don't Pass Me By, I Will, Julia, Birthday, Helter Skelter. Ooh, that's a great rocker. Long, 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 Revolution 1, and Good Night. A good closer for the album. We have the next few are 2012 reissues. Yellow Submarine, originally came out in 1969, the soundtrack to the film that came out a year earlier, which is having its 50th anniversary in cinemas, which is cool. You get some previously released Beatles songs. There's 2 previously released Beatles songs, which are Yellow Submarine and All You Need Is Love, but there's 4 new songs, which are Only a Northern Song, All Together Now, Hey Bulldog, and It's All Too Much are the 4 new ones. And side 2 has some orchestrations, film score, which was composed by George Martin, who was of course their producer, which is quite good for the album. The artwork's pretty cool as well. It comes with 2 inner sleeves. It comes with this original, the black one, on Apple. And they also got in this one, which is quite nice, with the original 1968 US liner notes, so that's pretty interesting. Here's the plastic sleeve. So yeah, nice cover still, I like this one. And then we have 1969's Abbey Road, which I mentioned before is my favourite of the later days. And it has a great cover, very famous cover. And people have walked across the zebra crossing of Abbey Road, and I have as well. So it's a great cover, particularly it's a nice taken on a blue sunny day with green trees and that. It's a nice sunny day in '69. It was taken in August 1969. There's the songs. What do I really like? I really like Come Together, Something, Octopus's Garden, Oh Darling, Here Comes the Sun, Golden Slumbers, Carry That Weight in the End. It just, the final medley of Golden Slumbers, Carry That Weight in the End almost represented the end of the Beatles, because this was the Beatles' final album that was recorded. This was the last album the Beatles pretty much did together. But Let It Be was kind of the last album they released, but that was recorded before Abbey Road. But Abbey Road came before Let It Be. So Abbey Road was the last album the Beatles made together before they split up. And we are on the Apple label again. 1969, 2012 reissue. Brown. There's that. So yeah, it's a great album, great cover. Then we have Let It Be, which, as I said, 1970, as I said earlier, the last Beatles album they released. I quite like it, you know, it's pretty good. I like Two of Us, Across the Universe, I'm in Mine, Let It Be, One After 909, Long and Winding Road, and Get Back, which are the ones I really like. And the Beatles did a film of this where they were kind of rehearsing for a concert they were going to do, which they ended up doing on the roof of their headquarters, Apple headquarters in Savile Row in London. And there's a film of that. But the Let It Be film's not been out in DVD, so I'm hoping the Let It Be film comes out in DVD. But don't know if Paul and Ringo would want it out in DVD. Songs and Apple again. I might do a part 3 of this one, I'm not sure, because I've got quite a lot to show. But anyway, there's the Apple. The Early Years, which is a 70s, 1971 record. The Early Years featuring Tony Sheridan, which has the Beatles backing up Tony Sheridan. When the Beatles were in Hamburg, they were trying to get a record deal. They got this record deal from Polydor, and they backed up Tony Sheridan, this guy called Tony Sheridan, for a few songs. and called themselves the Beat Brothers on some recordings. These are the songs, as well as you get some early Beatles songs. And this is on Contour. Stereo Contour. Quite a nice label, actually, never heard of it. It's got quite a nice cover as well, with the Mersey beat paper. And of course, is when these recordings were when they had Pete Best on drums. As we all know, Pete Best was the Beatles' first drummer, but Pete Best was, I don't know how, but Pete Best was sacked because the Beatles didn't think he was a good drummer and replaced him with Ringo, of course. We have some, compilations. 1962, 1966, this is what we know as the Red Album. Great album. Great cover as well. An alternate shot from the Please Please Me sessions. Back, gatefold, all the songs, so many classics, songs in a sleeve with all the red lyrics, and the apple. I've got a couple of copies of this. This one isn't in too great condition. Neither is the second record, which I'll show. The cover's in good condition, but the records are not in as good condition. This one's got some dirt up there. This one is warped, unfortunately, so I don't know how well it will play. So I don't think it will play well. But I do have another copy of the Red Album, which I'm going to show. They did colour vinyl copies, but unfortunately I don't have the colour vinyl copies of the Red or Blue album. Just standard black ones. Here's my other copy of the Red Album. My first Beatles record I had. My grandparents gave me this. This was the only one they had, Beatles one they had. I could sort of see why. They're more of a fan of the early Beatles. I love the early Beatles, and I do like the later Beatles. But I think the early stuff, the best, stuff they did. And again, it's the same. I've got 3 copies of this next album. The Blue Album, 1967 to 1970. I like this one as well as the Red, really good one to have. If you're a Beatles fan, these are great ones to get. If you're not much of a fan, these 2 red and blue ones are the ones you probably would want to get. If you're not much of a fan, good for the collection. Have a great tips. Lyrics, and we're on Blue Apple background. Ooh, careful there. This is my mum's copy. The warped red one I got off a friend, and the other red came from my grandparents. This came from my mum. This I got off eBay. It's a later reissue of the Blue Album. It's got a barcode on it. The inner sleeves are a bit different because they look kind of purple. I know they're coming out dark blue in camera, but they look kind of purple-ish. But the record's identical. These came out in 1973. Both Red and Blue Album came out in 1973. This Blue Album I got off a friend. This is a French. Is it French? Yep, Patty Marconi French copy. This is a different one because it's made in France. This is the second record. Not in too bad condition actually. Quite a flimsier record compared to the UK ones. Bit of tape down here. The bottom. Oops. Oops. Oh, there is like this. Hang on. There's some Beatles compilations I'm missing. Some like 90s, 2000s, like the anthologies I'm missing from the 90s anthology, and the Beatles #1 compilation, which I'll get. and the Let It Be Naked LP, which was a stripped down alternate versions of the Let It Be songs. We have a compilation called Rock and Roll Music 1976, really good one. This has got a lot of the Beatles like rock and roll songs, which is quite nice. Gatefold, and this silver Parlophone double album set. This is a factory sample copy, which is kind of like a promo copy, not for sale. So that's pretty interesting. Second LP is the same. I have a cool interview LP, the Beatles tape from the David Wig Interviews. David Wig was a journalist who interviewed the Beatles and recorded them between December 1968, March 1969, June 1969, March 1970, July 1970, October 71 and December 73. So it ranges from 68 to 73. They were actually recorded for radio broadcasts, Radio 1, BBC Radio 1 broadcasts, but they're different dates which are corrected in the book, The Beatles, the BBC Archives. And there's the notes about the interview. And it comes with a book that has photos of the Beatles, and some newspaper articles. Some nice photos in there, particularly with them and the entertainer, Ken Dodd. A nice picture of them by the seaside. There's a photo with the Royal Variety performance, I think. So there's quite a lot of nice photographs of the Beatles in here. So there's one from the later days, what they look like in 1975. As you can see, Ringo and George have had long beards, and I've got beards, and the Beatles have got long hair. The photos of the interviews, Paul and John's interviews, as well as the Yoko Ono ones. As we know, Yoko Ono was John's wife. It's on Poldo, 1976. Really interesting interview to listen to. They obviously talk about like near the end of the beat, because the future of the Beatles was quite uncertain at this moment in time. And so, David Wig, who was doing the interview, would often ask, what's your future? And they'd say what was happening, when the Beatles would be back, or whenever, And the second LPs. Why not match on the second LP? Okay, so I'm gonna stop from here, and I'm gonna do part 3 now. Okay, so I'll see you for part 3.